Okay, so today we've got a special episode. I guess we'll call this the Christmas episode because it's going to take me a while before I'm able to create all my scripts and, my bigger videos, especially since it's Christmas. So I've got this in the meantime. I hope you guys enjoy. I just wanted to get something out for Christmas. And thank you guys so much for the last video I did. The last two videos, to be honest. You guys have left so much support. So thank you guys so much for that. But we're going to get straight into it. I've been playing Marvel Rivals a lot, so I have a lot to say. And I'm not going to act like I'm a pro or anything like that, but, I've been playing, so I think I've got a good grasp on all of these characters. So, the first character we've got here is Adam Warlock. I'd say he's B tier. He's essentially just your baseline healer. He's got his revival ability, he's got good heals, does a decent amount of damage as well. He has a good team up with Star-Lord as far as I'm aware. I'm not an Adam Warlock main, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact mechanics. But as far as I'm aware, he can revive, Star-Lord or I think Mantis. They can revive using his cocoon ability with their team up. So he's just a good baseline healer. There's other healers in this game, which essentially is the reason why I can't put him any higher. But he is very solid. Now, Black Panther. Black Panther is strange. At the worst levels, he's C tier. At the very worst levels, he's C tier. But at the best levels, he's up there. So I think he also goes in the B tier as well. And the reason why I say this is because for Black Panther, you need to understand his combo. If you play Black Panther and you just try and run in and you just try and kill everybody and you don't have any sort of strategy going into it, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you're a liability. But if you know how to do his combo correctly, know how to use his abilities correctly, you can honestly trap a whole team in spawn and they will struggle to get out. So Black Panther, I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's just incredibly hard, which is also the reason why I can't move him up to A tier. But we'll leave him there. Black Widow. Black Widow, I kind of want to put her, I might move her up and B tier, but she is C tier for now because if she doesn't have the Hawkeye team up, she is just a worse version of Hawkeye or Hela. Now with Black Widow, she, as far as I'm aware, can't one-shot headshot kill, which again you'll see with, but she can't one-shot headshot kill, and her abilities are just kind of lackluster. She doesn't really do all that much. She can be a problem. She really can be a problem, which is the reason why I kind of want to move her up to B tier, but we'll leave her here for now. And especially with that team, her Hawkeye team up, because a Hawkeye team up essentially gives her Hawkeye's his ult ability. So she can now, once they're teaming up, she can now shoot people's silhouettes, and that makes her very, very dangerous because obviously a lot of people, especially every 30 seconds that's happening, a lot of people will get kind of confused on the battlefield, as well as just straight up having to go into cover and stay stationary in order to not get hit by that. So I'd put her in C tier. With the Hawkeye team up, she's B tier, but I'll keep her C tier for now and we'll see. Hulk. Hulk I've had two minds with. I'm actually going to put Hulk, I don't know. These two characters I'm in two different minds with. A part of me wants to put Hulk in B tier and Captain America C tier. I'll explain this why though. So we'll start off with Hulk. Hulk is a character where you need to kind of understand how to play him as well. He's kind of similar to Black Panther. He is one of those characters where you are meant to, like, he does his job well as a tank, but he doesn't defend himself well, if that makes any sense. So when you run out with Hulk, when you die for other people, yes, he's meant to be the main focus of attraction. He's meant to be that guy that, the whole team starts focusing. And that's because he's massive. That's because, he even does an okay amount of damage. I wouldn't say he does a very, very good amount of damage, but he does an okay amount of damage. He's good for drawing attention. And especially with the Doctor Strange team up, and I'm pretty sure he has a team up with Iron Man as well. It does make him stronger. I'm pretty sure this season he gets an extra 150 health. And with Doctor Strange, which we'll get into in a second, Doctor Strange, he gets his Gamma Explosion, which makes him a lot more powerful. So Hulk is one of those glue guys, I'd say. Like, you can... There's people that can play him and they make him really, really bad. But if you know how to use him, I think he can be a very solid pick. The reason why I've put Captain America down here is because Captain America is one of those guys where he will bully your backline, but that's all he does. Like, he's good, but when you compare him to the other tanks in the game, why would you ever run him? Like, realistically, I would say he's more similar to Hulk, but Captain America is one of those picks where you could only really, the only viable option I'd say for running him is when you're running a Thor because of their team up. But other than that, if you run a solo Captain America, it just begs the question as to why you wouldn't just run someone else. Again, this tier list, I might change it up a little bit later on, but we'll get to that. Now, Cloak and Dagger. By the way, I'm going to just quickly explain one of my rules here. Purely, especially for this game, so I only think there should be a limited amount of S-tier heroes or S-tier characters in any sort of game. So those are the cream of the crop, the best of the best. So for this game, my personal rule is 6 characters. 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 healers. I mean, if we follow that rule, we'll get to that. But I personally don't think there can be any more than 2 healers, 2 tanks, or 2 DPS in the S tier. So Cloak and Dagger, they're going at the top of A tier. I think they are incredibly solid. Incredibly solid. Like, Cloak and Dagger are borderline S tier. The only reason why I'd keep them in A tier is just because of my simple rule. I don't think there's more than 6 super, super good characters in this game. Everyone's pretty much relative. Even me just laying all these characters out. If you have a good Black Widow or Captain America player, they are very solid picks as well. It's just that you can get more value for doing less if you pick these characters at the top. So Cloak and Dagger. Cloak, he is essentially a DPS. And Dagger, obviously her daggers do really, really good healing. Her ultimate ability, I'm pretty sure, is that Orb of Light. Honestly, is one of the biggest saviors you could have in a game, because you can just sit in that. So for example, if you're playing tank and you're taking a lot of damage, you can just sit in that and start shooting out of that. Honestly, they just have really, really good potential for healing and DPS. So that's the main reason why they go A tier. Now, Doctor Strange. He's S tier. Now, I know what some people are going to be saying. Some people are going to say, no, the tanks are really weak. No tank is in S tier. All the tanks are in A tier. Blah, 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 blah. To play this game effectively, because you have to remember this is a team game. A lot of people play this game like it's Call of Duty Marvel Warfare. This game is a team game. You, at bare minimum, if you want a competent team, you need to run a tank. At least one tank, I'd say. I'm starting to come around to 3 DPS, 1 tank, 2 healers, but I still think the best composition is 2-2-2. Even 3-2-1 for tanks, low-key could be broken, but I haven't experimented with that too much. But Doctor Strange is the anchor tank of this entire game. He's an anchor tank as a whole, but he's the anchor tank of this entire game. If you look at a tank and what they need to do, Doctor Strange is the epitome of that. So, the first thing he's got is his shield. His shield is incredibly powerful. By the way, I'm a Doctor Strange main. I think I should let that out there. But his shield is incredibly powerful. It can block a good amount of damage, and I'm not saying it's broken or whatever, but it's just powerful. And your team can shoot through the shield, whereas the other team obviously can't. Which creates a lot of situations where you can essentially just sit on the point and have your team, if they take damage, just fall back onto the point. Or even just sit behind you and heal you, or sit behind and shoot through your shield. So it's... The essential thing I'm trying to say here is that Doctor Strange has a lot of utility. Not only that, obviously his damage per second between all the tanks, I'm pretty sure, is one of the best. And his utility with his portals as well is honestly so underrated. Like, I've seen a lot of high tier Doctor Stranges not even use his teleportation ability. And I've seen a lot of people downplay his teleportation ability, but I'm being so real. A lot of people do not look for these portals unless you put them in such an obvious spot. So a lot of the time at the start of the game, you can just teleport flank. You can legitimately just bring the whole DPS team and let them teleport flank. You can just singularly, I hope I said that correctly, teleport flank, and then run into the front of their team and let your team push up, because they'll get confused. Because usually what happens is once you teleport in and you stand right in front of the enemy team, they get confused as to what's going on. Like, how did you get there? But then they realize, which gives your team enough time to push up, do damage, and take advantage of that confusion. I'm trying to think what else. His levitate ability as well is a good escape. You can escape Jeff ults, you can escape any sort of ults, even Psylocke's ult to a certain extent. Like, as long as she isn't targeting you, can escape it. I'm trying to think what else. He's just really powerful. He's just really, really powerful. So Doctor Strange goes into S tier. Again, the reason why I had a lot to say about him is because I'm a Doctor Strange main. But he's really powerful and he's better than all the other tanks. Spoilers. And we'll get into the other tank, which I think is in contention for this, but I don't think he's, what I'm saying, he makes the cut. Now, Groot. Groot is B tier. Groot can be very powerful. Again, Groot is one of those characters where he can sneak up into the A tier, depending on the map. His walls are really annoying. His ability to... I'm pretty sure his ability. He can carry, Jeff the Shark, Rocket, have them on his back, and then, they can heal him or heal, like, obviously teammates and do damage, things of that nature. Groot can be very, very powerful. It's just that not on every map he does that power shine, if that makes sense. And one thing I do like about Groot as well is his health bar. His health bar is really, really high, which makes him really, really strong. But, again, it's all about... Would I pick Groot over a Doctor Strange, for example? In some maps, maybe, but realistically, Doctor Strange fits on every single team. Groot, sometimes you gotta switch. So Groot goes into B tier. Hawkeye. Oh, we're getting deep into the S tier now. Hawkeye is S tier. Simply for his one-shot kill ability. Now, I already know people are screaming for nerfs, buffs, whatever. Hawkeye, I don't think... Okay, this is going to be controversial. I don't actually think he needs a nerf. I think more so a lot of other characters need a buff. So, for example, maybe the tanks need an extra health buff. Black Widow needs a buff to get more so on Hawkeye and Hela's up. But then again, obviously, that might break the game. But you know what I'm saying? But, like, I feel like other characters need a buff rather than Hawkeye gets his nerf. But, that's a whole different conversation. But Hawkeye is broken. His ult is broken, 3 kills. Obviously, his main primary attack is essentially all you need. His secondary attack is situational, so you shouldn't really be using it, but you can use it. And he has good mobility. He has the ability to deflect with his sword, even though it's really hard. If you have a really good Hawkeye player, they're destroying the other team. They make it really, really hard. And one thing I will say about whether or not you're doing well as a Hawkeye is if you make the other team be afraid of poking out. That's how you can tell if you're doing well. It doesn't really even matter about the kills or damage. If they don't want to stick their heads out because they don't want to get one tap by you, you're doing your job well. Because you're a deterrence. But obviously the kills are nice, but like being a deterrence as Hawkeye honestly has a lot more value than a lot of people would like to say. Because again, they play this like it's Marvel Warfare rather than Marvel Rivals. But you know what I'm saying? But... that's where Hawkeye goes. I don't know why I keep right-clicking. Hela. Again, S tier. In fact, over Hawkeye. Hela is hit scan. She can 2-tap you in the head, and that's it. The only reason why Hawkeye is under Hela is because, don't get me wrong, in the very perfect situation, Hawkeye is better than Hela. But people aren't perfect with their aim. People aren't perfect in general in terms of the way they play. Hela just has a lot more of the ability to step back. A lot more of the ability to get carried by her abilities. And because of the fact she's hit scan, she doesn't have to, aim perfectly. She can just, look at and tap, look and tap, look and tap. So, Hela's damage capabilities is just really strong. Her evasion abilities are really strong too. And her synergy with Thor and Loki makes her a semi-healer as well, which is why she, especially because of the way Thor and Loki, how powerful they are, we'll get to that in a sec. She's just really, really strong. She is really, really strong, and she deserves her spot in the S tier. Those are the 2 DPS that belong in the S tier. And honestly, running a team with Hawkeye and Hela is hell for the other team. Which is why you even see in higher ranks where they ban both of these characters. But yeah, that's Hela. She's broken. Iron Fist. I'm gonna put Iron Fist in the B tier. The beta, I feel like, is getting really, really crowded, but I'm gonna switch it up in a little minute. But Iron Fist, if you're really good at playing him, again, he's one of those characters where you can really abuse the backline, the enemy's backline. But Iron Fist, he just doesn't have what it takes to be up here in the A tier. Like, if someone picks Iron Fist, like, I'm assuming they're picking him to have fun. They're not picking him to specifically just win the game. They're picking him to have fun, which I don't mind, you know. Have your fun, because he's still solid. But I wouldn't consider him at all A tier or S tier. He does a good amount of damage when he does, you know, kidnap that Hela, but overall, I just think he's solid. He's not the best, he's not the worst. Now, and by the way, I haven't don't worry about the order these are being put in. If anything, I'll change the order around at the end, but like, don't worry about the order that these are being put in any tiers. Iron Man. I'm a type of person where I was coming around to Iron Man being good, but it's just the fact that with Hawkeye and Hela running around, he has to go down to C tier. Iron Man isn't that bad. You know, he's not that bad. The problem with Iron Man is that when you have a Hawkeye and Hela that can one-tap him, yeah, it's long. It gets really, really long. You know, it gets really, really long. But a lot of people just don't know how to play Iron Man correctly. They play him like they can just stand out in the open and shoot. But realistically, you need to play the game in a vertical manner using cover. Iron Man can be powerful. It's just that in the current meta with Hela and Hawkeye, if they're in the game, yeah, it's a long day. But if they get banned, such as in the higher tiers, then yeah, he can sneak up to the B tier. You know, like, he becomes quite okay as a DPS, but right now, like in any other tier or even in quick match, yeah, he's C tier. Jeff the Shark. Now, I've seen a lot of people say he's S tier, a lot of people say he's A tier. He is somewhere between the bottom of A tier and the top of B tier. I think he's B tier. I don't think he's A tier. Jeff the Shark can give you them good heals. His ult as well is very good, especially if you're playing a domination game mode where you need to get people off the point. It's really, really good. However, can you play him solo healer? Not really. You know, like, his damage potential compared to like a Cloak and Dagger, like, it's not the same, and Cloak and Dagger's healing is, I'd say, on par. You know, like, he's good, but there are better characters, in my opinion. And in fact, we're looking at a better character. Loki is A tier. Now, I know what people are going to say. Loki is not A tier. You don't know what you're talking about. Loki is bad. No, he is not. Loki is broken. But he's not broken. But if you have a perfect team composition, Loki becomes a great, massive problem for the other team. Because Loki is not just a healer. You know, Loki, people shouldn't be looking at Loki as a healer. If you're running 2-2-2, you should have a primary healer, whether that be Cloak and Dagger or some of these other guys we'll talk about in a sec. And then you should run Loki as your secondary healer, because he doesn't just heal. With his clones down, he does triple damage. So already he's got DPS on his side, you know. He can stay invisible indefinitely as long as he doesn't get close to the enemy team. Which means you can set up plays where you set up clones, you hide, and you either support one of your tanks or support one of your guys moving up a little bit. But obviously the enemy team won't know you're there until you reveal yourself. His runes, especially when you have the clones out, obviously they triple up. So, for example, let's say you're playing a domination game mode and you're trying to play, and you're legitimately just trying to hold the point. You can just set your clones all within the point, and then when you're ready, pop them, bow. You have a whole wide range of healing, you know, just in that area. And as far as I'm aware, the way the healing runes work is that if you do damage to anyone inside those runes, they gain health. And that's the problem with Loki as well. He is one of those characters where he puts down so much equipment onto the map that you have to destroy it, because you can't just leave those clones. They will kill you. You can't just leave that rune up. They will legit heal the team up to full health. He is dangerous. He is incredibly dangerous. He should just never be ran as a solo tank, a solo healer. That's just my opinion. But in terms of actually supporting the team, he is broken. And especially since the meta is Hela, and Hela, as long as she gets a final hit, can revive him, yeah. He's strong. He is really, really strong. And I didn't even get into his ultimate ability. His ultimate, essentially, like, his ultimate is the personification of what he is as a character. He is legitimately the glue guy. He will support you wherever you need support at. Let's say you need damage. He can swap into one of your teams at DPSs. So let's say you're playing, let's say you just need to get a couple kills really, really quickly. Your team's playing a Hawkeye. You can teleport into, you can shapeshift into Hawkeye, pop the ult straight away, and just kill 3 people just like that. You don't even need to. The worst thing about it with his shapeshift ability, his ultimate, you can spend 15 seconds as someone else, or 14 seconds as someone else, pop the ult, and it resets the ability. I'm not sure if that's a bug or whatever, but you can stay as a different character for 30 seconds. Let's say you want Luna Snow's ult. Let's say you just want more healing. You can transform into her and pop the ult straight away. Let's say you need an extra tank for whatever reason. Let's say you want to pop Doctor Strange's ult for whatever reason. You can. Let's say you need his teleportation ability. You can. I'm just saying, Loki is really, really strong. A lot of people are sleeping on him. And I think once the game has had a little bit more time to mature, people will start realizing Loki is really, really strong. But he's an A tier. I just had a lot to say about him as well because I really like him. But people have been violating where they put him on the tier list. Luna Snow. Luna Snow is S tier. Oh, let me put her there. Luna Snow is legitimately not a baseline healer, but one of the top tier healers in the game. Her ult is just broken straight up, and she gives you them good heals. I've never played as Luna Snow before, but I know what she does. It's one of them ones. She is more solid of a healer than Jeff the Shark. She can heal. I'm pretty sure her heals aren't auto aim though. That's the only problem. But her ult makes up for that in so many ways, because her ult just makes everyone inside it invincible. Like, I'm just keeping it honest. That is clutch in a lot of games, and you will even see in the top ranks a lot of people playing Luna Snow, especially because obviously a certain character gets banned, but we'll talk about that in a sec. But Luna Snow is really, really strong, and she is at the top of her class when it comes to the healers. Cloak and Dagger could take her over, but I will say just purely because, at least in my opinion, I think Luna Snow is just a little bit better. So she's in the S tier. Cloak and Dagger again, borderline S tier, but she's in the A tier. Well, they're in the A tier. Magik. I don't have enough information about Magik, I'll be real. I don't really run into a lot of Magics, but as far as I'm aware, top of B tier, high A tier. I can't really tell you too much. All I know is that she is really annoying. She can, especially when I've been playing Doctor Strange against her, like, yeah, she can really do a lot of damage because, again, Doctor Strange's shield doesn't block out melee attacks. I think, just out of respect, I'll put her at the bottom of A tier, but again, I don't really know. I know she's powerful, but I don't really know how powerful. But yeah, bottom of A tier, we'll put her there. Magneto. He is the tank that is in contention for Doctor Strange to be the best tank in the game. I mean, let me just put it. But Magneto has nothing that, at least in my opinion, that makes him S tier. He does a good amount of damage. His shields obviously keep people vulnerable for a couple of seconds. His ult, in my opinion, isn't that good. I think Doctor Strange, like, I personally thought it was better than Doctor Strange's one at a certain point, but now I've kind of changed it. I think Doctor Strange's ult is better, just because it can come out of nowhere and it can be a game changer. But his ult is strong. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just not as good. His shield, again, I think it has unlimited health, but it has a time limit, so it's about 10 seconds. He's just solid. Like, Magneto is one of those characters where I think if you don't have a Doctor Strange, or you're unable to use Doctor Strange for whatever reason, then you use Magneto. But Magneto, in my opinion, isn't better than Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is still a lot more solid and has a lot more versatility, whereas Magneto is one of those characters where I feel like if you need a little bit extra damage, then you probably go Magneto a little bit more, especially if you have Scarlet Witch, but there's no reason to run Scarlet Witch, but we'll get into that in a sec. But yeah. He's solid. He's very solid, and he's A tier. He's better than the other tanks in the game. Mantis, S tier. S tier. Like, Mantis does a ton of healing. She does a ton of damage, like, on DPS levels. Her ult, as far as I'm aware, is broken. Well, not broken, but really, really good. Same thing as, like, Luna Snow's. These two are honestly just the pinnacle again of healers. Really, really good. Really, really solid. I don't really have much else to say about Mantis. I'm not a Mantis main again, but I know how vital and powerful she is. That's the reason why she gets banned a lot of the time in high ranks. But yeah, Mantis is a good S tier. Moon Knight. Moon Knight is A tier. I'm about to put Magik in B tier. I keep her, do you know, I'll put her in B tier. But Moon Knight is A tier. The amount of damage he does is ridiculous, and his ult is actually pretty good. I think anyways. It's pretty good and it's pretty hard to get out of if you don't have any escape abilities. Moon Knight, when he puts on his arcs and he shoots you, they do a ton of damage. Obviously, a lot of people are starting to come around to shooting the arcs, but I'm keeping it real. A lot of people still don't realize it. A lot of people still don't shoot out equipment, and a lot of people still don't play Team Ball. A lot of the time they're playing Marvel Warfare, as I said. So you can get a lot of kills and a lot of damage done to people just by putting his arcs down and shooting them. Moon Knight he's just solid. He's just really, really solid. And he has a good team up with Cloak and Dagger as well. So you could run both of these and honestly, you can do a lot with the both of them together. But yeah, he's A tier, really strong. Namor, I'd say before, maybe a couple days ago, I would have said he's B tier. Namor's A tier. I've seen what people can do with him. Me personally, I wouldn't run him, but I know what he can do with his equipment. Again, the characters with equipment are really, really strong in this game. His squids or octopuses or whatever, you know, they just do a good amount of damage. He's really good on, I think it's like defense. He's really good at defense. His ult, again, stuns people. Like, it does damage and it stuns people. That is really, really good. And as far as I'm aware, he does quite a good amount of damage as well. Like, Namor is one of those characters where he probably just goes under the radar, but he is quite strong. Would I say he's stronger than Moon Knight? I don't really know. Again, I'm not a Namor main, but I've seen what he can do. He's A tier. Peni Parker. Now, S tier. No, not S tier. Oh my god. B tier. Tweet. B tier. Peni Parker is good. Really good. Like, almost elite S tier on defense, but on offense, she is, boy. If you're playing Peni Parker on offense, please switch. I'm not saying you can't do decently well on her, but on offense, you can tell that she struggles versus like another tank like Magneto or Doctor Strange. She can't sit on the point. She can put her traps down, but a lot of the time she can't just sit on the point. A lot of the time she's getting sprayed. A lot of the time, what enemy teams end up doing is just targeting her because she doesn't really have that much in ways of getting out that damage. You know, like, she's really good on defense on like when you have to capture the point or whatever. She's really good at like keeping a point. But when it comes to those offensive settings, yeah, she's not all that. But yeah, B tier I think is perfect for her. Obviously, again, defense like S tier, A tier, top of A tier, S tier, but like on offense, she just lacks a lot, at least in my opinion. Psylocke. This is the character that's gonna break my rule. S tier. Those are the 6 S tier characters I think that are in this game. Psylocke, she is just beneath Hela and Hawkeye. But she is so solid, does a good amount of damage, has good evasion tools. I'm pretty sure she can go invisible. Her ult is hard to get out of, even when I said with Doctor Strange, incredibly hard to get out of. She is strong, like really, really strong. Obviously, versus like a Hawkeye one-shot or a Hela two-tap, yeah. Not on their levels, but on their levels for real. She is still better than a Cloak and Dagger in my opinion. She's better than all of these A tier characters in my opinion. She is strong, incredibly strong, and I think she deserves that S tier pick. So yeah, Psylocke is going into S tier. If you main any of these DPSs, essentially your team should be eating good. But yeah, I don't think any other tanks belong in the S tier, by the way. It's just Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange is just the best overall tank, and then all these tanks kind of follow suit. But Punisher. I think Punisher is actually A tier. And I think at higher levels, he probably goes down to B tier, but because of his ease of use, he's legit just... He is the definition of Marvel Warfare. Call of Duty Marvel Warfare, for real. He is the definition of that. He is legitimately just a Call of Duty guy. He has the AR. If he's up close, switch to the shotgun. Bow, bow, bow. Smoke grenade, he has the zipline to get him into the fight a lot more. His turret does a lot of damage. He's solid. Really, really solid, especially for those who are just getting into the game. I don't think he's B tier, just purely because of how easy he is to use. A lot of these other characters, you need to kind of understand their abilities. Punisher, you could just run onto the game and just bow, 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 get a couple kills. Now, obviously, if we're talking about higher levels, Black Panther could be better than Punisher. But you have to learn him. You have to learn him. That's the only reason why he's in the B tier. Like, if we're talking about... Because I'm obviously trying to balance it between meta and also ease of use. Punisher, at all levels, you can pick him up and he'll be pretty strong. Black Panther, not at all levels, and sometimes he can be a liability. That's kind of how I'm, you know what I'm saying, putting this whole ranking together. But Punisher is low A tier. He's really, really strong. Obviously, against some of these other guys, he does lack, but he is still good. Rocket Raccoon, or what do they call him in the MCU? Was it like the trash monkey or something? Rocket is B tier. Again, like, don't really worry about where I'm placing these characters. Yeah. Rocket, he has a good team up with Punisher. Obviously, unlimited ammo. He does a decent amount of healing. He does a good amount of damage, actually, for a support, to be honest. But he's like Loki, but worse. Like, he's one of those supports where they're not meant to be the primary healer. He can revive as well, which is really good. But Loki is just better. Loki just better. Loki, for real. Like, there's no point in picking Rocket if you're gonna pick, like, if Loki exists in the game, in my opinion. But he's a lot easier to learn. So, you know, you can use him. But again, in my opinion, I don't think he's that good. Now, next up, Scarlet Witch Dieter. Just not that good. She just straight up isn't that good. And her auto-aim ability makes her good for ease of use. Like, you don't really have to aim. She's one of those starter characters which you can use and be pretty decent with. But once you get to the higher levels, like, higher levels in terms of competitive, she falls off a cliff. She's just not worth it. Especially if your team is not running a Magneto. Like, I'm more times out of 10, again, using this tier list, there's no reason to run Magneto if Doctor Strange exists. So, she just ends up at the bottom. She's just pretty... Like, if you pick Scarlet Witch, I assume you're doing it because you can't aim, or you don't want to, you just don't care, you're just trying to have fun for real. But her ult isn't that good. You can shoot out of the air, and more times out of 10 you can just block it with a shield. She just isn't that strong, I'll be real. Iron Man is stronger than her. Spider-Man. Again, B tier? B tier? B tier. He's like, Iron Fist I say is better than him because he basically just does what Iron Fist does, but he just is a lot harder. You have to swing in, you know, crawl around walls. Legitimately, Spider-Man's an assassin. He legit just finds that healer, targets him, kills him. But more times out of 10, like, you can make it work if you're a really good Spider-Man, but I'm gonna be real, like, you're doing all of that work for something that Hawkeye can do in one shot. Like, his ult is pretty good though. I'm pretty sure his ult gives him a little bit of health, stuns people, does a lot of damage. His ult's really good, but realistically, if you pick Spider-Man, I'm expecting him about to lose the game because you don't have to play him. His difficulty also, he just gets difficulty death for real. Like, honestly, like, a really bad Spider-Man goes in D tier. I'm not gonna lie to you, but just because I know how powerful his kit can be, B tier. At most though, I think he'd go in A tier. But again, like, you might as well just play a Loki or a Cloak Dagger or something. Squirrel Girl, she's actually quite powerful. I kind of want to say she's A tier. She is low-key powerful, to be honest. Like, she can do a lot of damage per second, and she's slept on. She's like one of those Namor picks. Like, even me, I sleep on her a lot of the time, but she can do a lot of damage. Her ult is really annoying. You can have it just go across a point, which honestly locks down a point. Like, she is strong. She does a lot of damage. It's just that, again, would I put her... Like, I think Namor's still better. I still think Punisher's better, if in my opinion. But then again, this might change. You never know. Like, the game is still early. You know, the game is still young. It might change. But I think she is more powerful than the other DPS I put down here. So yeah, I'm going to put her in A tier, just in my opinion. Star-Lord at the top of E tier. He could be A tier, but the reason why I think Star-Lord is B tier is because I feel like he's just really easy to deal with. He's just annoying. Like, he has mobility. He's just kind of annoying, but he's not one of those characters where I'm like, oh, they got a Star-Lord, we're cooked. Like, he just does damage. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, Star-Lord's one of those characters where he has really good mobility, so he can get out of a lot of bad situations, but he's just not... He doesn't do anything special. He can be powerful. I think he's obviously more powerful than Iron Man. Maybe he's A tier. Maybe eventually sneaks his way into the A tier. But for now, yeah, no. Storm is D tier. I think she's actually the worst character in the game. She needs to pick a lane. She can't do anything right. She's like a damage and support all in one, but she doesn't do them well. And when she's flying, she moves like a tank. I'm sorry, she's one of those characters I think needs a buff. For real. I don't even think Scarlet Witch needs a buff. I think Storm needs a buff. But Scarlet Witch, I don't think she needs a buff because she's meant to be that easy character that people can get into. But yeah, like I wouldn't pick her. Thor, A tier actually. Now, I think Thor and Magneto go hand in hand as the best tanks. Thor can be really powerful, especially if you obviously team him up with Captain America. But even by himself, he's really powerful, especially with Hela on a team, which is most likely going to happen. Again, can revive Thor. He can heal himself. He does a lot of damage. His skills recharge differently, because obviously they work on the, I think it's like the Thor Force. So, like, obviously you have your free charges. You can go Ascended Form, which just makes you into a semi-range character. He's just really solid. He's really solid. He's a really good up-close and personal tank that honestly could be... It's kind of like a semi-DPS at the same time, but, like, I wouldn't consider him DPS, obviously. But he's like a semi-DPS. The only thing he lacks in is his ult, which is kind of bad, but he's still solid. He's still really solid. Venom. Venom is, again, B tier. I'd say he's around Peni Parker. He can be annoying, but all it takes to really beat a Venom is a good team. Like, just a coordinated team. Like, more times out of 10, like, Venom, he's good, but he's not special. He doesn't really do anything special. His ult, in my opinion, it just saves, it gives him more survivability. It doesn't really do all that much. Obviously, he can swing, he can hide, he can dive, like... I guess against healers, he can be really strong, but again, I'm just kind of like, you know, like he's a mid tier. Like I can't look at him in all faith and like faithfully just put him in the A tier because I just don't think he's A tier. I don't think he's in the same tier as Thor or Magneto, but he is strong. He is very, very strong though. Like that's why he's at the top of here, but I just wouldn't say he's like, if they have a Venom, like I'm saying, oh, we're cooked. Again, he's like Star-Lord, where it's like, I'm like, oh, they got a Venom, like we have to deal with him. Bucky is A tier. I think Bucky is actually quite powerful. I guess what I'll do is I'll just rank them based on where they are. We'll do that in a sec, but I'll rank them based on where they are in terms of like tank, DPS, healer. But Bucky, he is probably just shy of the S tier. He is really, really strong, and his ult, again, as long as you get kills, can keep on going and going and going. He is strong, very powerful. He does a lot of damage. Again, I just don't think he's Psylocke level, Hawkeye level, or Hela level. But he's really good, really powerful. Again, I'm not a Bucky main, but I see what people are doing with him. And lastly, we've got Wolverine, who you guys probably think I put in the D tier, but I think Wolverine's misunderstood. I think Wolverine is really misunderstood. I feel like he can be very, very powerful if we learn how to use him correctly. Or at least enough to be in the B tier. I don't think he's really, really trash, because he can... Again... As a tank, I've dealt with a lot of Wolverines. At least in the lower tiers. Like, I don't really see them like that much in the tournament right now. But at the lower tiers, what these Wolverines used to do is just kidnap me, take me to a corner, beat me up. And I couldn't do anything about it. And my team obviously couldn't do anything about it because he just kidnapped me. He just take me away. Wolverine, he's meant to be a tank shredder. Again, I don't know how useful that is in this meta. So... Again, like, he's a DPS, so, I mean, I'll put them all in the rank they're meant to be in a sec, but I think he can be powerful. I think he could probably go into the B tier, especially if you've got a good Wolverine and someone that knows what they're doing with him. So, C tier. Let me just quick put these guys into where I think they should be ranked. So, I think the S tier is fine. A tier, obviously, we've got the healers. We'll go with the healers. Actually, to be fair, we'll do tank DPS healers. So, let me just put the healer over there. Again... Yeah, I'm put the healers there. DPS wise, I think that's fine. Healer wise, that's fine. Again, we'll go tanks first. Let's bring the tanks forward. Oh, there's all tanks. Yep. To be fair, I think that's fine. And then we'll do... Then bring Jeff back here. Then bring Adam Warlock back here. I'd probably say go something like this. Yeah, I'd probably agree with this. And then, yeah, something like that. And then here it's obviously just got the tank and the DPS. I'd say it goes something like that. And then this one. Yeah, and then this one, yeah. Okay, so this is the definitive tier list, I'd say. So again, Doctor Strange, best tank. Hela, Hawkeye, Psylocke, best DPSs. Mantis and Luna, best healers. Obviously, in the way they're ranked now, the way I would rank them, obviously Magneto is the best tank. Thor is second best tank. Then obviously I've ranked the DPS. Again, I'm ranking them based on their class, not on how I think they are comparatively altogether. I think Bucky is the best DPS in A tier. Then it goes Moon Knight, Namor, Punisher, Squirrel Girl. Then Cloak Dagger is the best healer in A tier, followed by Loki. Then in B tier, Peni is the best tank. Then it followed by Venom, Groot, Hulk. Then the best DPS, I'd say, in B tier is Star-Lord, followed by Magik, Black Panther, Iron Fist, Spider-Man. And yeah, I really don't think that highly of Spider-Man, but you know. Good Spider-Mans can make it work. And then in healers-wise, I think it goes Jeff, Adam Warlock, Rocket. Then obviously C tier, obviously we just got Captain America. I think Black Widow is the best DPS. Then it goes Iron Man, then it goes Wolverine. And obviously you got the trash. No, I'm joking, they need to. So yeah, that's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, this was just a Christmas video, I guess we'd say. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, and I just thought you guys would enjoy this, to be honest. Again, more scripted content is coming in the future. You know, I'm going to start working on some of that, you know, especially over Christmas. So, and to be honest, I think this video as well may potentially become a scripted video later on. Well, at least this game, it might potentially have some, you know what I'm saying, some good potential in the future. But I'm going to keep that one under wraps until I'm ready to reveal that. But again, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like my commentary and are new to the channel, please leave a like. And also subscribe because that very much helped me out. And make sure to leave all your comments below and how you think I did on the tier list. Call me a dumbass if you think I'm a dumbass and I put this character in a place where you don't think they are. Whatever, I don't really care. But other than that, have a lovely rest of your day and take care.